If you're over 40 and it feels like your metabolism has slowed down, there's a good chance you've been sending your body the exact wrong signals for years without even realizing it. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 things I would personally do if I had 30 days to reset my metabolism without any dieting, long workouts, or expensive supplements. Just 5 daily signals that tell your body it's safe to burn fat again. And by the end, you'll have a complete 30-day blueprint that you can start tomorrow. Most people try to fix a slow metabolism by eating less and moving more. And I get why. That's what we've been told for decades. But here's the thing. If you're over 40, stressed, underslept, and your hormones weren't what they were at 25, that approach often makes everything worse. Your body doesn't just ignore those signals. It fights back. Cravings get stronger, energy crashes harder, belly fat doesn't budge, and the people I see get the best results are rarely even counting a single calorie. Instead, they focus on the quality of the signals they're sending to their body every single day, and that is what actually changes the metabolic environment. Now, if you don't know me, I'm Ashley Richmond, a 7-time national level athlete and health and performance coach, and I've helped hundreds of busy professionals over 40 reset their metabolism and lose 10 to 30 pounds without tracking calories or spending hours in the gym every week. The common thread with every single one of them isn't a lack of discipline. They're highly driven, successful people. The issue is that their metabolism has been getting wrong signals that say, store fat, conserve energy, stay in survival mode. And the frustrating part is that many of the things they were doing, things that sound healthy, were actually reinforcing those signals. So, let me explain what's actually going on inside your body. Your metabolism isn't a furnace that you stoke with food and burn with calories. It's more like an operating system that's constantly reading inputs. What you eat, when you eat, how you move, how you sleep, how stressed you are, and when those inputs consistently signal scarcity, stress, and instability, your body doesn't think you're trying to lose a few pounds. It thinks you're in an emergency, and its response is entirely rational from that survival standpoint. We want to hold on to stored energy, break down metabolically expensive muscle instead of fat, increase cravings for calorie-dense foods, lower your energy so you can serve what you have. This is what I call fat storage mode, and the way out isn't forcing harder with more restriction, it's changing the signals. So, if I had 30 days to flip the switch, if I woke up tomorrow at 45, stressed, tired, with 20 pounds that wouldn't budge, here are the 5 things I'd focus on, and I'd do them in this exact order. Thing number 1, eat a high protein breakfast within 60 minutes of waking up. And this is a big one. Most people over 40 are walking around with elevated morning cortisol from years of high pressure careers, fragmented sleep, and a nervous system that's stuck in overdrive. Then they add caffeine on an empty stomach, they skip breakfast, they push through the morning running on stress hormones. And their body reads that as, we're in a famine, conserve everything. A high protein breakfast within that first hour sends the opposite signal. It tells your body, food is available, we are okay. It also does something else that's really important after 40. There's something called anabolic resistance, which is your body becoming less responsive to protein as you get older, which means you need more of it early in the day to trigger muscle protein synthesis and preserve your metabolic engine. Muscle is what keeps your metabolism running well. Lose muscle and fat loss becomes exponentially harder. So, practically, what does this look like? I'd aim for 30 to 40 grams of protein at breakfast. This could be 3 or 4 eggs with some leftover meat from dinner. It could be a quality protein shake if you're really short on time, or it could be Greek yogurt and berries. Things like Greek yogurt and cottage cheese are really great options here. The key is getting that protein in early, before coffee if you can manage it, so that your body gets the signal that you're fed, you're not starving. Every client I've put this into practice with reports fewer cravings by mid-afternoon and more stable energy across the day as well. It sounds really simple and probably too simple to work, but the physiology does back it up completely. Thing number 2, remove seed oils from your diet. I'm not going to tell you that one ingredient is going to ruin your metabolism overnight, but here's what the data actually shows. Seed oils, so things like soybean oil, canola oil, sunflower oil, vegetable oil blends, are disproportionately high in omega-6 fatty acids. And while omega-6s aren't inherently bad, the problem is the ratio. Historically, humans consumed omega-6 to omega-3 in a roughly 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 ratio. In the modern Western diet, that ratio is often 15-to-1 or even 20-to-1. So, why does this matter for your metabolism? Because omega-6s are precursors to pro-inflammatory signaling molecules in the body. And when your system is flooded with them from the oils used in virtually every packaged food, every restaurant meal, and every processed snack, you create what I call metabolic friction. Your body has to deal with a constant low-grade inflammatory load. And inflammation directly impairs insulin sensitivity. When your cells stop responding properly to insulin, your body produces more of it. And insulin is a storage hormone. When it's chronically elevated, you spend more time in fat storage mode and less time in fat burning mode. Essentially, this is clogging up your metabolism. The fix here is simple though. So we want to be cooking with butter, ghee, coconut oil, or avocado oil. We want to make sure you're reading the ingredients on anything that comes in a package. If it lists things like soybean oil, vegetable oil, or any of the seed oil in the first few ingredients, leave it on the shelf. When you eat out, ask what they cook with. And I'd focus especially on this during the first 30 days because that's your window to see how your body responds when that inflammatory signal is dramatically reduced. Most of my clients notice less bloating, fewer cravings, and surprisingly more energy within 2 to 3 weeks of making this one simple change. Thing number three is to go for a 10-minute walk after at least one meal every day. This one, again, is so simple that most people dismiss it, but there's a physiological mechanism here that directly impacts how your body handles the food that you just ate. When you eat a meal, especially one containing carbohydrates, your blood sugar rises. Your pancreas increases insulin to shuttle that glucose into your cells. But here's what most people don't realize: your muscles can absorb glucose without insulin when they're contracting. Walking after a meal activates transporters in your muscle cells, which basically open a back door for glucose to enter without needing as much insulin. What that means in practice: lower blood sugar spikes, lower insulin output, and less time in fat storage mode after every meal. A postprandial walk, which is just a fancy term for walking after a meal, can reduce the blood sugar response to a meal by 30 to 40%. That's a massive metabolic shift from a 10-minute investment. I pick one meal to start. Lunch is usually easiest, but dinner might be better for you. Finish eating, get up, and just go for a 10-minute walk. It doesn't need to be a brisk walk. It doesn't need to be a workout. We're just walking. If you can do it after 2 meals in a day, that's even better. But the target for these first 30 days is at least one post-meal walk per day. Thing number four is to add one fruit or vegetable to every single meal. So most people over 40 are under-eating micronutrients without realizing it. They're not getting the vitamins, minerals, polyphenols, and fiber that actually run the biochemical machinery of your metabolism. Your thyroid needs selenium and iodine. Your mitochondria need B vitamins and magnesium. Your liver needs the compounds found in cruciferous vegetables to produce hormones efficiently. When any of these are lacking, your metabolism doesn't stop. It just runs slower and less efficiently. So adding one fruit or vegetable to every meal is the simplest way to flood your body with the raw materials it needs without having to micromanage a supplement stack. So for an example, with breakfast, you could throw in a handful of spinach into your eggs or some berries into your yogurt. Lunch, just add some sliced cucumbers, some peppers, or even something like an apple on the side. And with dinner, just make half your plate vegetables. So roasted broccoli, asparagus, green beans, whatever you're actually going to enjoy eating. And this isn't just about vitamins, although those are obviously very important as well. But the fiber in fruits and vegetables feeds your gut microbiome, which produces short chain fatty acids that directly influence your metabolic health and your hunger hormones. Fiber also slows gastric emptying, which means more stable blood sugar, which we've already talked about lots here, and fewer cravings as well. In the first 30 days, I wouldn't worry about hitting a perfect number of anything here. I just make sure every plate has at least one thing that grew from the ground or on a tree. It adds up fast. 3 meals a day over 30 days is 90 opportunities to send your body the signal that real nutrition is coming in consistently. Now, thing number five is to walk at least 8,000 steps per day. And this one might surprise you, not because it's something new, because it's obviously not, but because of why it works. So most people think of walking as a calorie burner, but it's not. You burn roughly 100 calories per mile at a stretch, whether you're walking or running. The real value of 8,000 steps is not the calorie burn. It's what it signals to your body across the entire day. So there's a concept called NEAT, or non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is all the movement you do outside of your formal exercise session, like your workout at the gym. So it's walking around your house, taking the stairs, pacing while on a phone call, even something like fidgeting at your desk. And here's what's really fascinating when it comes to NEAT. When people cut calories, their NEAT drops unconsciously. So they're sitting more, they're moving less, they're not fidgeting as much. Their body's conserving energy without them even realizing it. And the research shows that this can account for hundreds of calories per day that simply disappear from your energy expenditure. So by setting a target of 8,000 steps per day and hitting it consistently, you're overriding that unconscious conservation signal. You're telling your body, we're moving, we're active, there's no emergency, so keep the engine running. It also improves insulin sensitivity, reduces cortisol, supports lymphatic drainage, and creates a daily rhythm that anchors your circadian biology. Practically 8,000 steps is roughly an hour to an hour and 15 of minutes of walking total across the day, and that's much more doable in smaller chunks. So a 10-minute walk after each meal, like we talked about just before, plus normal daily movement, and you're already most of the way there. If you need to, you can do things like parking further away, taking walking meetings, pacing during calls, whatever it takes. And if you're currently at something like 3,000 or 4,000 steps, don't try to jump to 8,000 overnight. Just add 1,000 steps per week and build that up, because the goal is consistency, not one perfect day followed by burning out and not doing it again. So if you look at all five of these, there is a common theme here: high protein breakfast, removing seed oils, walking after meals, fruits and vegetables at every meal, and 8,000 steps per day. None of these are extreme. None of them require you to count calories or starve yourself or spend hours in the gym. But together, across 30 days, they send a completely different set of signals to your metabolism. You're telling your body, protein's available, don't break down muscle, inflammation's down, you can let go of protective mode, blood sugar's stable, you don't need to pump out excess insulin, micronutrients are coming in, the machinery can run at full speed, and we're moving consistently. There's no famine, so stop conserving. Most people try to fix their metabolism by forcing it harder. More restriction, more cardio, more willpower. But The answer is rarely force. It's more about improving the context, changing the internal environment. And once that environment shifts, fat loss stops feeling like a fight and starts feeling like something your body is willing to do because it finally feels safe enough to let go. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to the channel and like this video. I'd really appreciate it. And if you want the next step, which is my full framework for putting fat loss on autopilot after 40, watch this next video where I walk you through my 5-part system I use with my one-on-one clients to reset their metabolism for good. I'll see you there.